feel like somebody's over our shoulder watching us? He's like, want some food? So over on YouTube, on the community page, I put a Q&A because everyone's been asking for an update on Jason, and so today he's going to answer your guys' questions. So let's just dive right into it.
Yes.
There's kind of a lot, so we'll try to answer them quickly.
Yes.
Okay. Just for those of you, if your question doesn't get answered specifically, it's because a lot of them were the same.
Yes. But thank you everybody for submitting them.
That was awesome. Okay, first question got asked quite often was, how does Jason cope with depression and anxiety?
I don't. I bottle it up until I explode.
Really?
No, so I do take medication for, I don't know what you call it. What do you call it?
The mood medication?
Yes, mood medication. So that helps. Over time, the effectiveness of it has waned, so they've bumped it up a little bit. So that's back in balance and I'm happier. But
do you feel depressed?
I don't feel depressed. I mean, I think a theme of some of the questions seems to go into, this isn't a long-term survivable, there's an outcome that's known and it's just inevitable, and I'm going that direction, and everybody else with this is, but I don't look at that as a reason to be depressed or anxious or upset about it. I can't change it, so just live every day for what it can be and enjoy life that I've got and my family around me and my friends and move on. I just don't bother dwelling on or being depressed about what's going to be, because we all have an expiration date. I just know mine comes with me being diapers.
Diapers, yeah. Okay. What is your favorite thing to do now?
Now and post travel with Leslie. I love to just go new places and spend time with my grandkids and hang out with family, but just traveling is still one of our favorite things to do.
Okay. There's a question down here in the list that is going to actually talk a little bit more about that. I don't want to try and find it because there's a lot of questions. So we are going to come back to that because we're going to talk about something with traveling.
Okay.
Okay. Jason, what bothers you the most about your diagnosis and how your life has changed?
What bothers me the most is there's no remedy. I like to, if there's a problem, I just like to fix it. I'm excessively blunt about just trying to fix things, I don't beat around the bush, and there's no beating around the bush, there's no fix. So it bothers me that there's, I can't just change my diet, add wheatgrass, and, cut out butter and make it go away. That's the only thing that bothers me.
What do you think about the people who think that they send you get quite often a lot of people who send you, they want you to go to a healer, they want you to change your diet and all this stuff, and they 100% believe in their hearts that will heal you. Everybody's
got their own opinion. And everyone's entitled to them. I have tried a lot of things. I'm not saying those don't work, they just haven't worked for me, or changing my diet, or whatever, going to a healer, or just doesn't seem like it has had any effect on slowing the progression or changing the trajectory of what's happening. So I just, I respect everybody else's opinion, but, I got to do what works for me and us. So a lot of people have been asking me throughout these questions, everyone knows you love to cook. I do love to cook. Okay. So, and they want to know if I've noticed any difference in you and your cooking routine, which unfortunately, yes, you get to where you don't want to cook as much anymore. So this was kind of already answered, but I guess you could answer this a little more specifically. They said, I love his bright jokes and perfect one-liners that he sneaks into the conversations. He's very witty. My question is, what makes him happy lately? What makes you happy? We all would love to know this. I don't know. I don't even really understand how to answer that. What makes me happy? Yeah, what makes you happy? Okay, so I struggle because I want to make you happy. I find it hard to make you happy. And obviously you kind of don't know. I think your grandkids make you happy. Yes. But they're not here all the time. So. I guess I've probably always been a dreamer, and I love just dreaming, planning, what's coming next, what we're going to do next, where we're traveling to, or whatever. That makes me happy. What are we going to be able to do next? Go somewhere, do something.
So thinking about that makes you happy.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's a good one. Okay. A lot of people wanted to ask how your sleeping has been going. And then there's a second part to this question. And then it just talks about how, like, exercises for your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do anything to help exercise your mind? So sleeping's been much better.
Sleeping has been better. It's cyclical. So right now I'm on I can sleep just fine pattern, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
But then there'll come a period where there's a month where I sleep 3 hours and then I'm up all night long.
I did notice that once we got the mood medication finally kicked in, I did notice then you seemed like you started sleeping better.
That perhaps could be, I hadn't put that together, but you might be right.
I know, so I kind of felt like that. Oh, and the mind exercises.
Oh,
So, no, you don't much. Honestly, I feel like he kind of gets stressed out if he has to do a lot. He reads the news on his phone.
Yeah.
But that's about it. You don't enjoy writing. Oh, because someone did ask, do we journal? And I wanted to explain that I don't think that journaling was something that you would really be able to do.
No. I like to work on things, tying flies for fishing, or planning. I keep saying planning, but like, if we're going to go somewhere, I like to think about what we're going to do and research it, or some new project around the house, I like to work on that. I have to take them in smaller chunks now because my mind just gets tired or fuzzy and I have to stop. So I've always been good about usually taking notes. So I'll take notes, stop, and come back and look at it. So.
But a lot of times now,
Yeah.
the notes are almost a moot point.
Mm-hmm.
If I leave a note for Jason on the bar, telling him to do something, we now don't even look at the note. So
Right.
he used to live by notes. When he first was still working, he would have like notes everywhere. We've talked about that in the past, and he used those. And now you don't really.
I didn't even remember to look at the notes.
So.
Like take your medicine.
Yeah, one time. Yeah. So. Okay, so this one, there's a couple questions here that went together, and we're going to talk about something that happened this past week. It says, how much autonomy does Jason have? And how do I balance keeping him safe and still allowing his autonomy?
I know where this is going.
Yeah. So if you follow me over on Instagram, you guys got the story. It was just a little boo-boo, but Jason caught the house on fire. And so, as you guys know, I'm a nurse that used to work nights, and I got to where I couldn't leave Jason alone anymore. And so during the day, if I ever go anywhere, he's usually either with neighbors or he's just here and he's not doing anything, and I'm not gone for very long, and I don't think too much of it. But now I have to start thinking about things differently because while I was gone, Jason caught the house on fire. It was actually a really scary situation. I walked in, there was smoke everywhere. What had happened was Jason was smoking some meat out on the smoker, and I believe he caught the pot holder, like maybe had a little burning coal, ember on it, and he put it in the drawer in the kitchen. So when I came in, it was all on fire, and
It was smoldering. It wasn't like a blazing inferno, but there was smoke. A lot of smoke.
well, all of the pot holders were burned up. The bottom of the
Pan.
it has a mat, was completely burned. There's a burned spot in the drawer, and so that was all burnt up. And it was very scary. The scary part was the smoke detector wasn't going off,
And I was asleep in the chair.
and he was asleep. So it was very scary. And that smoke detector goes off all the time and has since been checked and works. I have no idea.
It goes off when I overcook bacon.
Barely any little thing. So thank you, Jesus, for me walking in at the time that I did, because I really do feel like it was just within a couple minutes of the whole cabinet catching on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very scary. So allowing Jason his autonomy and keeping him safe is a really fine line, because he still wants to do what he wants to do, and he gets mad because he thinks I'm being controlling.
Mm-hmm.
But I really don't care anymore. Like, I don't care if he thinks I'm being controlling. Before, I used to try and, like, not come off that way or do that, but now I gotta do what I gotta do to keep you safe.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
And I'm okay with that.
That's good. That's good. This is from Willow. She says, how has your faith helped you move forward in this progressive disease? And will Jason continue with his medications and his daily routine? And then there's another part to this. So we use our faith for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've talked in many videos, like we couldn't do this without Jesus, and we pray, and I don't feel alone because he's with us.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else also asked about your medication, and do we think that at your age, if the medication is making a difference? And we 100% believe it is.
Yeah.
Actually talked to the doctor when we were with her last time, the neurologist, and we all believe that because of the Aricept, it has been helping maintain for the last couple years on his memory. He is declining cognitively, but it
seems like it's stretching a little.
It's helping immensely.
Yeah.
So, how have your children respond to the diagnosis? And are both okay? And then do we have friends that help and stuff like that? Okay. So yeah. So Jason just went with his friends. He got to go pheasant hunting.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't physically hunt, but he went with his friends. They took him. One lady said she was worried that you went hunting.
Yeah, I don't hunt.
No, and you got to have friends. You got to rely on other people as a caregiver. You get in the dog. You can't do everything yourself. You have to. It was great. I got a little vacation. Jason was gone for a couple days, and he got to get away from me, and
Mm-hmm.
it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks Evie for joining us. This is the question going back to the beginning of this video that when we talked about travel that I wanted to bring up. It said, Jason, do you find it hard or difficult when you travel to new or unfamiliar places? And do I have any tips for caregivers to help with loved ones to keep them at ease during travel? Yes. Mm-hmm. Back in December, we traveled down to Florida. And as much as Jason will sit here and tell you he loves to travel, it actually is a very stressful experience from a caregiver point of view. I know it might not be from your point of view. But if we are always trying to show you guys both sides of how this really works, from my point of view, Jason, when he feels any stress on anything, his temperament changes and it just kind of turns into no fun. Mm-hmm. So as much as he loves to travel, I am now starting to not want to travel with him, and I don't like that because he wants to do it, but it's not as fun. So this is a balance and something it's a learning thing, and we're gonna have to figure this out.
So for those of you out in TV land, please leave a comment on why you think it's a good idea that we buy a sailboat. Thumbs up for sailboats.
Thumbs down.
Thumbs up for sailboats.
Okay, I'm gonna die. Do you feel stressed when you travel? When we went on our vacation last summer, you were fantastic.
Yeah.
Once we got there and there was nothing to do, fantastic. Mm-hmm. It's the getting there and getting home part that you weren't the best at.
Yeah, and I don't know.
You're
I honestly
not
don't.
aware of it?
No.
No. Okay. I'm sorry. The last video I saw, you mentioned his anger, and I wonder if it's only verbal or physical, and do you ever feel unsafe? Well, it's definitely not physical. No. Jason, he's never been physically, and he's never used to be verbally. And I gotta tell you guys, the holidays this year were the worst I've ever had, and the mental anguish was tough. You guys saw in the November update, it was really hard. I was going through a really hard time. His medicine adjustment had not kicked in, and it was like January 1st. Oh my goodness, the sun shined down. And it's like it kicked in and back to my old JJ. Mm-hmm. So this last month has been a lot less stressful. So it's been really nice. Mm-hmm. I'll take it.
Yeah.
How does Jason always seem so upbeat? It's obvious that you have mutual love and trust and respect for each other. I care for an elderly lady with dementia, and I'm exhausted after 5 hours. How do you guys do it? So how do you always seem so upbeat?
Well,
It's kind of like what you said at the beginning.
when you're this tall, good-looking, and humble, I mean, really, what's there not to be upbeat about? For those of you that don't know me, I'm not tall at all.
But you are good looking.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about humble. How are you always so upbeat? I actually go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
that's
No, you can talk.
I don't know. I just have a good positive outlook on life. I just, we're very blessed. We've got a wonderful family. You're awesome. Got a great dog. Evis de Venus.
She's right here in my lap. That's so sweet. That's good. And I like that that's what Jason focuses on. Like, as the one who is like taking care of everything, if you're a caregiver, you know that you don't get to focus like that. You have to focus on the ugly. And it is now more difficult for me and a little bit harder to feel quite so upbeat. But
I try and pay attention and communicate if I feel like I'm having triggers and I don't know, like, so Leslie mentioned I like to read the news, like I read the Wall Street Journal on my phone, and I used to be able to multitask, and now I have identified that if I'm reading something on my phone and she wants to talk to me and she's interrupting me, or perhaps this was pre-medication adjustment, but I can't take both, and I feel like she's like, my brain's just like, and I'll be short and curt with her.
you're doing much better.
But
the medication, since it's been adjusted, it's been much better. And I'm not trying to interrupt you when you're reading. I usually am like, I need to tell you something, or something's happening.
And to me, it doesn't even matter what it is. You could be telling me the house is on fire. And that's an exaggeration, but
yeah,
because the house wasn't on fire, it was embers.
I love how you want to downplay it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate you allowing us all into your lives. Her mom has Lewy Body, and she has really bad visual hallucinations. How do we handle our hallucinations, and do we talk about them? So, Jason...
Not only do we talk about them, we talk to them.
Luckily, man, say a prayer, knock on some wood. Jason does not have those kinds of hallucinations. He has auditory hallucinations. He does wake up. He hears music, those kinds of things. Sometimes you see a light, or sometimes you feel like a person
is walking past.
Yeah, he thinks like a person is there. But that's about it. So we haven't had to deal with the really bad hallucination part. I do feel like that I don't know if that'll come later. I don't know. Anything to say about those?
We'll have to just wait and see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of times the hallucinations actually comes more towards the beginning, and so our doctor mentioned that we might not have to deal with that part, and that's okay. Everybody's different.
Delusions of grandeur. I mean, I kind of, feel like I'm Napoleon.
As I watch Jason, I find myself giggling at his witty sense of humor, and I find myself, what worries him? Really, do you actually have worries? Like,
no.
I'm completely and utterly jealous. Do you really not have any worries?
No.
Okay, I mean, that chokes me up, because that is actually such a blessing. Like, that's so sweet that you don't have any worries. I don't want you to have any worries. I got you.
What's it gonna hurt? What's it gonna help to worry? Just let it go, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna remember that.
I worry that at Home Depot I can't make it to the bathroom in time.
You should, because you've crapped your pants multiple times.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Okay, I'm gonna answer this question very last, just because I know everybody's really here for you, but very sweet people who I'm assuming most likely are caregivers also want to know, like, what do I do for myself and how I take care of myself. So we'll get to that at the end. Right now we'll focus on you. Okay, this is a hard question and you don't have to answer. My husband has Lewy Body and is having a hard time accepting that he has a problem, and he tends to blame his problems on others around him. How do you cope with it? Like, how come you're so willing to like talk about it and accept it?
Philosophically, but honestly, I think it goes back to a lot of the education and training and reading I've done on being an effective leader, and I think it goes back to a lot of the, I don't know, education or just like self-improvement stuff on how to be a more effective leader. Like Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, or just, and a lot of what I've taken out of those studies are self-reflection. How do you make yourself a better person? Remain humble, listen to others, take responsibility for your actions, self-evaluate how things what effect you had on a situation. And you don't always have to be right.
So basically you're saying that because of your past, and you have such a fantastic long-term memory, you just are accepting of the situation.
Yep.
Because?
Yes. Because I can't change it, so you can't change it, I can't adjust for it, so let's just deal with it and be happy with what I've got and move on. Dwelling on it and being grumpy isn't going to make anything better, and it's going to make everybody else around me miserable.
Some people wanted to know, like, do you feel uncomfortable when people talk to you about it? Like your friends, or if anybody ever really says anything?
No, in fact, I appreciate if someone brings it to my attention. Pardon my French, but if I'm being an asshole, I would appreciate if you're telling me I'm being an asshole, so I can adjust. Especially if I'm not aware that I'm doing it.
I don't think that you're being a butthead. I think that people bring it to your attention if you're being a little flaky, like, because I've had people say, like, sometimes I don't know if I'm talking to Dementia Jason or regular Jason, because sometimes they just are very fluid and they go back and forth, and it's really hard. So one of the things is that Jason is wickedly smart. We've talked about this in past videos about why the doctor thinks Jason's decline has been slower is because of how intelligent he is and highly functioning. And I know whenever we're in a room, I know that Jason is the most intelligent person in that room. And I know that nowadays he struggles because he can't come across the way that he normally wants to. And sometimes it doesn't come out the way you want it to. But what was the point? What was the question? I totally lost it. And who's got dementia now? You know what I have? I have COVID brain. Yeah. Did you guys know COVID brain's a real thing? Do you want anybody to know you had COVID?
I don't care.
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah, you had COVID. Okay, so what we're sitting here talking about, because ever since last month, I got sick with COVID, and Jason had it also. So typical. Wasn't even sick. Ever since then, I've had COVID brain. I have had memory issues where I'm like, wait, what am I talking about? What am I doing? It's driving me crazy. We can't have both of us doing that. Yeah. He was great. Yeah, he actually took care of me. He was really sweet.
What question were we working on there?
I don't know, because I lost where my train of thought. But I'm over here bragging on you about how wickedly smart you are. We'll just move on to the next one. Okay. I want to know if Jason misses being in the military, and is he ever resentful of the service and what happened to you?
I enjoyed my time in the service. It was a very long time. I do not miss it at all because it became redundant. What was the next question?
Do you feel resentful?
No, wrong place, wrong time. It's just,
Life happens.
Life happens. I'm actually feel very lucky and blessed that it wasn't worse, because, a couple more inches one way or the other, or a piece of fragment in that could have changed the whole dynamic of where I'm at.
Yeah.
I might not be here.
Yeah. Has Jason's favorite things to do changed since his diagnosis?
I don't think so.
He still has his favorite things to do. It's being able to accomplish
them. I am.
It really.
I struggle to get them done.
Yeah.
Because I get tired.
Yeah.
So I used to be able to just sit there and just work for hours on end on whatever I was working on, and then get up the next day and do it again. And now it's like, I need a nap.
Yeah. Someone did ask, what's an average day like for Jason? And you used to be a morning person. You're no longer a morning person, so that has changed. Not a morning person, doesn't enjoy talking in the morning. Which is so funny because it used to be the opposite. And then all I know is whatever Jason wants to do for that day, he can do it good and solid for a few hours and be fantastic at whatever he's doing, and then that is it. And he wiped himself out, and then you will do nothing but sleep or watch TV for the rest of the day because your brain's exhausted. Do you think that sounds about right?
Yep.
Okay, this was cute. Any news Jason wishes to discuss is good. I love the video of him testing the bed covers. He is so funny. How is the new grandbaby? And how much time do you get to spend with him, and are you enjoying that?
He's awesome. We got to see him the other day. He's coming over tomorrow.
Saturday.
Today, whatever. Yeah. In a day or two. He's amazing. He's rolling over. I'm feeling like he's ready to talk.
He's 3 months old.
He has a lot to say.
He is. It's really fun. Yeah, so he brings a lot of joy. All of our grandbabies bring lots of joy.
Or are we talking about you?
Yeah, she brings a lot of joy. Yeah. Both of our dogs do. I want to address this question because it's something that I have been noticing lately that is new. Does Jason have a problem with his balance? So, this is new. He has not normally had any issues with his balance. Recently, within the last month, I have been noticing Jason almost like catching himself. He has not fallen, but he's shuffling his feet around like to catch himself walking around. That I actually brought it to his attention because I don't think that he noticed that he was doing it.
I did not.
What did you think about when I brought that to your attention? Did you notice it then when I said it?
When you brought it to my attention, I sort of paid attention to it, but I really put it out of my mind again.
I figured you did.
Yeah.
So I've been watching that. At first I thought maybe it was because his back hurt so bad. Maybe it had something to do with his back, but no, I've been noticing it's more of a balance issue. So that'll be something that we talk to the neurologist when we go again. This lady said, there's no question, I just feel bad for him when he's in these kinds of videos. Losing cognition and knowing you're losing it has to be the worst hell there is. I like it better when he just pops in the videos and acts silly. Well, we get that, but
So, this is really designed to help either people that have this or a loved one has it, to help them understand, deal with it, and kind of provide a bit of an outreach, because there's not a large community of people that talk about it. And to help people learn how to interact with people that have the disease, you know?
Yes. That's where I was going with that question earlier when I was talking about you being the smartest person in the room.
Oh, okay.
And everything. That is one of the biggest things is I get super defensive and I want to be like total mama bear when anyone remotely acts like you're dumb. And it's just so different, and I just don't even know how to describe it, but that just makes me so angry, and that is something that I get super bent out of shape about. Just because I do know how intelligent you are, and it's not your fault that you don't have that full capacity anymore, but I just don't ever like when anyone treats you different because of that. Have you noticed anyone ever acting like that toward you? You actually have?
Yeah.
I have too. Not close friends. Our close friends all know Jason. But other people, that just makes me angry. That's something I get my hackles up about. But I'm really thankful that you take the time.
Yeah. And it's kind of like anyone with a handicap. Treating them differently because of their handicap, they don't appreciate that.
No.
So.
No.
Everybody's a whole person.
Exactly. I don't know much about Jason's family or Leslie's except your daughter. Does he have brothers or sisters or other family members that would be willing to help, especially when we reach a point when I can't leave him at all? Yeah, I do think so. Your brother? Steve has already texted me and
Okay.
like it always says, hey, if you ever need me, I'm here, blah blah blah. So yeah, and you know your mommy would come down. Everyone always asks, do we have a plan? If Jason, like I can't continue to take care of Jason, guys, I'm gonna kill myself taking care of Jason till the end. Like
I'm looking forward to going into the VA residency healthcare program.
That's what he says he's gonna do. I'm like, nope, that's not what we're doing. Why does someone else have to take care of you if I'm a registered nurse? Why can't I take care of you?
We're fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah. But yes, I am willing to ask for help, and I will have people who will give me a break. Yes. Oh, I love this one. Is Jason still doing his flip-flopping flying kicks?
Speaking of these,
What?
the mark on the ceiling from yesterday.
I forgot that one. Yeah, tell them about your flip-flop kick.
We'll splice into the video here the new mark on the ceiling from last night's flip-flop kick, and I didn't curl my toes properly, and the flip-flop flipped up and left a skid mark on the roof, on the ceiling.
Yeah, I'm like, Jason!
Yeah, that wasn't the tone she had.
No. We were talking about your flip-flop kick. Okay,
Oh,
so in one of the recent videos, Jason came flying into the room and did a flip-flop. It was a day in a life. It was the Christmas day in a life. Okay, first of all, he has a bad back. He has balance issues, but yet he'll do this flip-flop kick. I don't know how, and if somebody saw him do it, they wouldn't believe it. But yeah. So new mark on the ceiling. Okay, we're almost done here. Has Jason deteriorated recently? Do you want to answer that?
Yes. Thank you for asking.
Yes, actually, you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has. He like we've talked in other videos. He likes to know what's going on with him, and I still bring to his attention what's happening. This dog's driving. She's jealous, and she doesn't like that we're talking to each other, and she's not in the mix. But I want to talk about this because this is actually really important, and it's a touchy subject, and it's hard to. People will get offended, but if you're a caregiver, you're going to understand this. If you don't deal with this situation personally, you're not going to understand this. But Jason's behavior has become more childlike, and I have to watch everything he does. I have to keep an eye on what he does. He acts kind of silly and childlike. You've always been silly, but some of your behavior is, you have to remind him to take a shower. There's just a bunch of things that like that, and so
I couldn't remember taking my medication to save my life.
Right. So just every little aspect is very childlike, like you're taking care of them like a child. And so it has progressed more like that in every day. Yeah. So there's that. Oh, do we have any fun trips planned for 2022?
We actually have a lot of trips planned this year.
We do.
Yep.
We do. Going to Florida to see our grandbabies. Going to South Carolina for...
One of my best friends is retiring from the Air Force.
Yeah, so we're going to go out there. We're going up to New England for a wedding.
And then we're going to Italy if it opens.
Okay, so we're supposed to be going... A couple years ago, we were supposed to go to Italy. I'm trying to do this before we don't have the opportunity to do it. We rebooked for September, but we'll see how the world is.
So we had it booked for our wedding anniversary in 2020. In 2020, May, and obviously the world decided to shut down. And we finally got it rebooked, and they just closed Italy again, so we'll see. Yeah,
we'll see what's happening in the world in September and what's happening with Jason and just how life is. I don't compare... Now, compared to 2020, I will say that I don't feel as comfortable traveling alone, just the two of us, as I did that, 2 years ago. Now, I do feel very much responsible for everything, and I have to 100% rely on myself, and so I don't feel as comfortable and I get more nervous. So back then we were renting a car and we were driving. We will not be doing that now.
Now we're gonna rent scooters.
That's a no. Now we're gonna get an Uber or whatever Italy has, a taxi. We'll be getting some provided transportation. Okay, I think that's it. Let me double check.
While she's checking, don't forget to give that like bell a double hit.
A like bell? Like
The thumbs up, and because thumbs up equals a sailboat.
We're not getting a sailboat.
Or a narrowboat. I would consider a narrowboat for cruising the channels of England.
No. Oh, you're funny. A lot of people says, does Jason go out? Does he have friends that he can hang out with? And what is your favorite food to eat?
I have a great group of friends.
Fantastic group of friends.
Yep.
Took him out with them hunting. It was fun. Like,
great group of friends, hang out with.
remind you to take your medicine.
Yep.
They all know the drill.
See them, at least one or two of them every day. That was one of them that just called. And hang out with them a lot. Great group of guys.
Yeah.
What was the rest of the question?
What's your favorite food to eat? Oh, this is a given. Come on now.
Ice cream.
What?
Or steak.
I was gonna say steak.
Steak. I could eat steak every single day, but I do eat ice cream every single day. So, but I like a lot of everything. I've been all over the world to the armpits of the planet, but from that I've brought home a lot of culinary adventuresome, Korean food, Middle Eastern food, Mediterranean food.
And I feel like HelloFresh is really helping you be able to like fulfill your cooking needs with that.
Yes.
Because there's different.
The bulgogi and the Mediterranean stuff, and it's also easy because it just shows up and it's all there.
Well, that's why we started getting it for
Yeah.
you, so it was just so convenient and
Yeah.
help you continue to want to cook and make it a little more simple for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, well, I think that we've answered the majority of the questions. We really appreciate you guys all the support.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. I hope this helps you. Again, the like button for that sailboat.
How about subscribe?
Tell your friends that I want a boat.
We're not getting a boat. But we'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Okay, I wanted to pop in while Jason wasn't here and answer this question where lots of people asked, Leslie, be sure and update us on you. Being a caregiver of dementia patient is emotionally taxing. And so I just thought it'd be easier if I talked about it when he isn't next to me. And this is for caregivers out there. So I know a lot of people, if you're not a caregiver, people act like this is complaining, or people act like, that kind of thing, and they just don't understand. And I understand that. And it's hard not to get defensive when people write those kinds of comments and that type of thing, but I try and allow grace, because if you're not living it and you're not doing it, you don't understand. And so, and even people who are close to Jason but don't live here with him 24/7 they don't understand, because he is such a happy, fun guy. But yeah, so I'm actually doing okay. I would say over the holidays I was doing terrible. Like, it was really difficult. Like you saw in that video in November, we went from November to December. It was absolutely awful. There was a lot of things that was going on behind the scenes that was hard to talk about and hard to express to people. There were money issues that Jason causes because he is not financially aware of spending anymore, and that's just been so difficult because he was always so financially savvy, and so it's something that I had to take care of, and so that causes a lot of stress. And of course the holidays add stress to anybody's life. So I just was praying every day that the burden would lift a little bit. And like I said earlier in the video, when the new year came around, it felt just like, it did start to get a little easier, and Jason, his emotions settled out. And so that if those emotions are settled out, it helps just the everyday part of it just not be so taxing. It's not that bad. But when you're dealing with all that, and then the constant anger and yelling and just ticking time bomb, that is just, your nerves are just shot. So then life is no fun. And so, even though I'm teary-eyed right now, believe it or not, I'm actually in a good place. I've never really struggled with depression or anxiety before, but I do have anxiety now that I never had. It's really difficult at my age, 48 years old, to suddenly have anxiety, and it's just bizarre. And so it's the type of anxiety where I wake up in the middle of the night and like my whole body is just humming, just, and you're just thinking about everything and how you're gonna do this and how you're gonna do that. And I just honestly, I hate this whole situation. I don't wish this on my worst enemy. I don't want anyone to go through this. And I'm not even at the really hard stage. Like, and so I'm like, whoo. So you get tough skin and you just learn to push through, and you have to have people that you can talk to and complain. You have to complain. If you just bottled all that in and acted like it was just fine constantly, oh, how could you do that to yourself? So it's really hard not to feel miserable. I've talked about this many times. Honestly, what would I do without Jesus? He is everything to me. He helps me. I'm doing a wonderful Bible study right now. That's so awesome. That's something that I do for myself. I take the time. I think about it this way. God gives me every moment of every day. So I can set aside specific time with Him because He's worth it. And He's worth it so much more than that. So I hope if you don't have that in your life, I hope that you would turn to Him and look for that comfort, because I guarantee you can find it. Okay, so now you know why I didn't want to talk in front of Jason, because he doesn't need to see that it is a burden. But it's a burden that I will do. Oh boy, he's my best friend. He's the love of my life. He's a huge pain in the butt, and I love him. So thank you guys so much for your kind words and your support.